If some more people will want to join, they will join between the meeting.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Aditya Parma, Secretary, IEEE GRSS Student Branch Chapter, IIT Roorkee. And on behalf of GRSS Student Branch Chapter, IIT Roorkee and Geospatial Engineering Group, Department of Civil Engineering, IIT Roorkee, I warmly welcome you all to the inaugural session of the IITR GeoLink Alumni Lecture Series. Today's talk is titled From Geospatial Intelligence to Real-World Impact, Research Pathways in Remote Sensing, IoT, and AI, which will be delivered by our distinguished alumnus, Dr. Neerav Sharma. Before I invite our speaker, I would like to request Mr. Deepak Verma, Chair of IEEE GRSS Student Branch Chapter IIT Roorkee, to formally welcome everyone and introduce the speaker.
Thank you, Edith. So, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Deepak Verma, Chair of IEEE GRSS Student Branch Chapter IIT Roorkee, and on the behalf of IEEE GRSS Chapter IIT Roorkee and Geospatial Engineering Branch Department of Civil Engineering, I welcome you all. So, I am very happy to inaugurate this new lecture series, IITR GeoLink Alumni Lecture Series. So it is a part of ongoing lecture series, Geospatial Lecture Series. So in this lecture series, we are aiming to connect with our distinguished alumnus and all the distinguished people who has done significant work in geospatial field. So we looking forward to increase the career orientation for our current students and make a strong link with our esteemed alumnus of IIT Roorkee. So I also would like to thank our faculty advisor Professor Alok Bharadwaj, Geomatics faculty coordinator Professor Saurabh Vijay, and all the people who had make this event and approve the this new lecture series. So yeah, so we can start, and I request Dr. Neerav Sharma, as he is currently working on Council on Energy, Environment and Water Center, and he has done his postdoctoral research at Purdue University and doctoral research at IIT Roorkee. So, sir, can we start with your lecture?
Of course, Deepak. Thank you so much, first of all, for giving me this opportunity. It has been a to and fro conversation in the couple of days previous when we were having the discussion. But hopefully, I was able to tackle the diplomacy and finally here to deliver a very small, brief lecture. So we'll be keeping intact on time. To all of you present here, I'm Dr. Neerav Sharma. I currently work as a program associate in the Tech and AI department of CEEW, which is the Asia's leading research policy think tank. I work in the field of geoanalytics and I co-lead the Tech and AI department at CEEW. As Deepak has rightly mentioned, I've done my PhD from IIT Roorkee around 2.5 years back under the supreme mentorship of Professor R.D. Garg. Following which, I pursued my postdoctoral fellowship from Purdue University, US, in the field of IoT, as well as the geospatial techniques for air quality enhancement and management for swine farms. So I'll just share my screen, and I hope that Deepak has already started the presentation recording so that the people who are not able to join,
Yeah,
maybe you can. Yeah, absolutely. Wonderful.
yeah, it's started.
So you all are able to see my screen?
Yeah,
Oh, great. So we all know that we live in an era where data is humongous and abundant in forms, but the only thing that we are lacking as a nation right now is to use that in the form of actionable intelligence. So the overall catch of this particular talk is to let you know that it's not just about satellites anymore. It's about how do we derive those data from satellites, make it real world decision-making pathways, and then how we can use it for from the range of geospatial intelligence to policy impacts and then governance and finally the deliverance that a nation building towards a superpower requires. So the overall outline will be a very brief 30-second brief about what I did in my PhD, which is basically the intersection of IoT, AI, GPS data, geospatial data, all forms of GIS analysis. And then the three main sectors that India currently lacks on and, of course, needs to capitalize on are basically the agricultural domain, the problem of pollution, especially, I mean, everyone must have heard about the stringent pollutions of Delhi. So that is something that we have been working on as well. And finally, when we talk about heat is not just solar radiation anymore. There is a great built environment domain that is now expanding upon and giving us a small brief checks that it's not just about heat retention on LST anymore, not just about urban heat islands anymore, but the type of built environment that we create for ourselves is something that is treacherous as well. Post that, we'll have a very quick chat about how to navigate post PhD. What are some of my advice or suggestions coming from experience as well as hard truths? So, uh, deep diving into what I did on my PhD. Well, it was not a conventional PhD from geospatial background, to be honest, because it corresponded towards the back end of geospatial, but the forend was completely on transportation safety. We know that the problem of stray animals on roads and the problem of potholes always persisted. So how can actually or geospatial systems can assist us in eradicating those? Of course, it will not just only save lives, but also save the infrastructure as well. Uh, so what I did was I created two separate block holes for potholes as well as animals. Um, GPS clamping for both of those. We had a great brief geospatial database at hand and a very basic buffer analysis that we all know in GIS. I hope that everyone now has a very basic understanding or a grip or a command in how to use GIS, whether it's Q or ARC. So a very brief utilization or leveraging the buffer tool at hand. And once we had the vehicle approach that particular buffer zone, it created real-time alerts through the IoT as well as the cloud infrastructure. So as I mentioned, the hotspot locations for potholes as well as animals, we had for now 150-meter buffer designated for both of them. And as soon as any vehicle from any direction approached that particular buffer, it created real-time alerts that, you know, a pothole hotspot zone is approaching or an animal hotspot zone is approaching. Reason being, at high speeds, uh, we do not know how to control the car when an animal is approaching from the blind spot, especially. And when it is the raining season, we do not know road kahan pe or gadda kahan pe because it's filled with water. So this was the overall motivation about how accidents can be reduced, fatalities can be ignored, and of course, injuries can be reduced to the maximum extent. And to show you a basic brief about what I did is something like this. You must have heard about Tesla. Uh, Tesla has the provision to use LiDARs and radars onto their particular systems, but in India, around 85-86% of the population still relies on purchasing vehicles which are less than ₹1 million. And of course, LiDAR itself costs 5 lakh with the maintenance. That is an industry grade. So if we use that, the cost of vehicle will heftily increase. And that was the reason why a cost-reduced downscale hardware were used as a proxy to LiDARs and radars through purely optical computer vision in real time. And as I mentioned about the real-time alerts, if you can just go through these couple of snapshots, these are basically the real-time IoT alerts that was received acoustically as well as visually on the driver's dashboard. Uh, this was a basic demo about how we can uh, eradicate the use of core satellites in real-world use and move towards more granular on-ground data that is at hand. Now, based on this particular motivation, we'll start off with some new research trajectories that I'm sure many of you must not have heard about because it's still under the development phase of Google Innovation Lab. Uh, First of all, India is very well known to be an agricultural powerhouse. But the problem is when it comes to decision making, the planners or the agricultural government, they still are limited towards district level decision making rather than field level. Now, there's a tool called ALU and IMID, which is called as Agricultural Landscape Understanding and Agricultural Monitoring and Event Detection. So it basically grants us the leveragement of field level geospatial intelligence for agricultural decision making. So in the previous week at the India Summit as well, I had my white paper launched for AI in agriculture along with Google, which leveraged this particular toolkit. So when it comes to the importance of this particular tool and the overall fundamental is that it uses Sentinel time series for mapping field levels. It just not gives us a district level agricultural farmland. It also gives us field level analytical timeframes. The use of machine learning for crop classifications, and it has a temporal correction resolution of 15 days. So every 15 days, Google re-verifies the spectral library and cross-checks and validates that the crop that they have set 15 days back is still there or not. So to give you a very basic overview, this is a very simple snapshot of what ALU and AMET gives us. So on the right, you can see that there are some field level farms, red and green color, for example. So green as of now are just the rice fields because I was working in crop diversification for rice. So just to give you about the demo, have a look at this. Are you able to see my screen? The window that I've opened?
No, it's just your presentation.
Okay, I'll share my entire screen. Not a problem. Not a problem. You can see it now. It's visible, right?
Still, it's blank.
It's still blank. I'm able to see it. Okay, let me
Yeah, it
just
was
share it
visible.
again. You're able to see the HTML map now.
Yes.
If anyone of you can acknowledge, you can, right?
Yeah, it's visual.
Okay. So these are the field level data that Google gives us. So it gives us, let's say, from 2022 in Kharif and Rabi season, what was the primary crop which was sown and then harvested? What's the primary confidence? What is the secondary confidence? And this gives us a great uh, uh, utilization of agricultural data at hand, not just pertaining towards district boundaries, but also towards the aspects of field level analysis, because that is something which gives us the incentivization angle or the direct benefit transfer angle as well. So I know a lot of people at Geospatial Engineering IIT Roorkee has worked upon crop classification, and many of you must be working on around this agricultural domain applications. But the overall funda is either people lack in accurate validation of that crop or they do not have the ground truth data. And this is how the ALU-ML tool basically covers that gap or bridges that gap. So this is something that as a core, Google has done a remarkable job. It is available not just for India, but it's available for Pan Asia as of now. And the data is from 2018 onwards to 2025. So it gives us a wide range of spatiotemporal and time series analysis that we can have at hand for agricultural applications. Moving ahead towards the next sector that India is facing, which is the problem of pollution, specifically coming from mobility or transport. So there is again a tool called Environmental Insights Explorer that not just gives us the type of vehicle that is available in the city or the district, but it also gives us the emission angle for that as well. So let's just think about a very hypothetical prototype problem that if I want to deploy some air quality sensors across a city, how can I choose the best areas to deploy those sensors? It will not be helpful if I deploy a sensor at an area where there is no pollution. पार्क के बीच में कोई सेंसर नहीं लगाएगा, right? You need to identify the areas where maximum amount of pollutions concentrate and prevail, and of course are trapped as well. So when it comes to EIE, the Environmental Insights Explorer, again from Google, it gives us city scale estimation platform for emissions as well as mobility share. It gives us GPS mobility data. And also it's very critical for urban climate action planning. So it'll be very good for planners or the city planners that work on comprehensive action plan or comprehensive mobility plans. Now, what it provides to us, it provides us basically the transport emissions by vehicle type, the modal share, that is how much percentage of movement is through which type of transport or which type of vehicle type. It also gives us carbon dioxide emissions over time and the vehicles which are incoming to the city or outgoing from the city. So let's just take a case of Bhubaneswar, for example. You can see there is a great road network hierarchy of Bhubaneswar. It gives us a basic overview about how much percentage of road types are present in that particular city. Now, this is from scratch that I have to look forward and deploy the sensors upon. Now, when I look on the second most granular layer from Vahan, of course, we get to know from, let's say, in the past decade, two-wheelers have been the majority of the vehicle type that has been there in that particular city. Then, of course, we have four-wheelers. To again cross check, ठीक है, I have the data about ठीक है कितने टाइप की vehicles हैं, but how much do they actually roam around that particular city? So commercial cars, if you can see, are like 270 kilometers a day. They travel daily in the city of Bhubaneswar. Now, a very contrasting catch is, even though two-wheelers consist the maximum amount of share, they still are only contributing to 40 kilometers a day travel inside the city. So now once we have an understanding about which core type of vehicle type to basically target upon in monitoring the vehicle pollution, that comes from the Environmental Insights Explorer, of course, through Vahan, and then a very basic understanding about what's going on in that particular city. So now we are completely moving away from use of core satellites towards more geospatial intelligence or towards more geospatial aspects of data within a particular city. Now, the great thing that Google Environmental Insights Explorer gives us is that it gives us the intersection of both of them. So how much amount of two-wheelers, four-wheelers, bus, motorcycle, cycling, walking, it gives us everything. Going into the city, going away from the city. Now, how we can use it? We have an understanding of the road type, we have the understanding of wards, and then we have a great understanding of GPS data. Now, the map that you see is basically the ward-wise GPS hotspot or the GPS pings. So एक झटके में देख के मुझे समझ में आ जाना चाहिए कि the red or the orange patches are the areas जहां पर maximum traffic movement होगा. To again cross check, we basically overlay it with the PM 2.5 and nitrogen dioxide, which is basically the primary source of emissions for two-wheelers. Now we have a basic understanding कि ठीक है जो मेरे watts में GPS data दिख रहा है, it is somewhat coinciding with the amount of pollution that is coming on from the satellite. Now we are using satellite data which is coming in from Sentinel 5P. We are using the GPS data coming in from Google, and then we have vector boundaries through watts. And from this, we corresponded towards geospatial intelligence, which is basically congestion mapping. Now, this is what Google use in Google Maps. We say we want to go from Roorkee to Haridwar, and it's plus 5 minutes in this particular road due to congestion. Ye congestion angle is coming from this angle. GPS pings, the traverseness of those GPS pings, and of course the amount of vehicles that daily travel in that particular route. So this is how we address a problem from scratch when it comes to transport or mobility angles. A very new angle in the recent times is built environment intelligence. Many of you people have been working on urban heat islands, urban mapping through LiDARs, through Sentinel. Fine. The problem is heat as a unit does not just correspond to heat retention coming in through, let's say, urban heat islands or through the solar radiation. It has more to do with the type of roofs which are being used in that particular city. Now, let's say this is the case study of Ahmedabad. And we know that Ahmedabad has rapidly been growing in the past decade because of, again, PM coming from that particular city. And we know that even though it has 3/4 of the land as agricultural land, it still lacks the, the problem of eradicating the heat. Now, if you see at the bottom layer, this is basically the roof type share in that particular city. Of course, metal and concrete are the ones that retains the amount of heat, not just giving you heat exposure outside, but also in general, traversing that heat inside as well. So now the heat is not just about the heat getting trapped between the buildings. It's about the heat because of the roof types that you are using is actually making your indoor ambient environment heating or heated up as well. Now you must be thinking, how is this particular angle coming up? LULC, urban heat islands, LST, सबको करना आता है. Roof type share basically comes from the census platform. And to now analyze if any one of you is working on urban, do visit and explore open Google data set on Google Earth Engine. It gives you building footprints in square kilometers, and it also gives you the building heights in that particular city. You can't just use it for, let's say, normal analysis, but you can also use it for digital twins. Digital twin is something that the world is moving towards, and the scratch for, let's say, urban environment intelligence comes from these open Google data set from Google. And it is again using Sentinel data to extract the building height and extract the building sprawl. So this is something that the three sectors that every think tank, not just pertaining towards CEEW, but Microsoft, Gates Foundation, McGovern Foundations, Google Innovation, Microsoft AI Intelligence, WRI, World Bank, everyone is focusing on these because these three are basically confining towards the climate adaptation or mitigation strategies. So when any of you feel that geospatial or remote sensing is not just about satellites, it's about using different sort of data sets at multiple sources onto a common platform. And geospatial is actually a trigger to make us help in decision making. So that's the overall brief about how you can work on different data sets. What are the core trending data set, which is not just happening inside the nation, but also at a global level. We are all moving towards hyper local. We are moving towards local to global, global to local. But all these jargons or all these cliche terms correspond to three main categories, which is agriculture, pollution, and built intelligence, which is the infrastructure. With this, I would just like to uh, let you know or spotlight about okay, PhDs are going on. The major problem with people are PhD का मतलब है being a faculty. That is not the right case. Of course, the major chunk comes towards academic path, but there are more options like applied research, like industry tech AI, or let's say innovation labs. So now is the right time to for the people like you to actually judge and guide about ठीक है मुझे life पे क्या करना है. For this, you should have a roadmap in mind. If you want to go towards postdoc, or if you want to become a faculty, of course, which is a latter step of postdocs, you should focus on three things. First, of course, is you should have a very discrete research identity. You should have great amount of publication quality rather than quantity. One Q1 paper is worth enough three Q2 papers if that Q1 journal is nice enough. And you should be able to back your overall quality of the publication. It's not about just about ठीक है मैंने Q3 पे पेपर डाल दिया, Q1 पे पेपर आ गया, fine. Do you know the essence of that paper? Blindly, can you explain that paper to any jury live is something that you should know. If you want to be at postdocs, if you want to become a faculty member, the best option for you is to hone your skills, sharpen your skills on grant writing ability. Without grant writing ability, you will not be a good faculty, you will not be a good postdoc fellow. If you do not want to go towards postdocs, for example, you always have the options for applied research that I'm working on right now, which is like a think tank. So if you want to move away from academics and if you want to have the essence of academics, but work on applied understandings, think tanks are the right path where you can actually have decision thinkings, of course, interdisciplinary integration because academic is more towards core depth. But think tanks or applied research is basically whatever tools you have, go ahead, use it for data to decision thinking. And of course, you should have some sort of policy understanding because without policy understanding, you will be nowhere at applied research think tanks. The third one is the industry tech or AI, like Google or let's say Microsoft or those product-based companies or some great startups. If you want to focus on these, you should know that your strength has to lie on coding. And apart from research, it should be more towards business or product understanding. So if you are good with system modeling, if you're good with model deployment, if you can think a bigger picture, I believe startups are the best options for you because it gives you liberty to work in a free, liberal environment. And finally, if you feel like nahi, ye तीनों nahi karna hai, so the best option is hybrid labs, which is basically things like World Bank, which does not just work as a think tank, but it also works in the academic level. It gives you a lot of grants. It takes a lot of grants, and it's more towards communication. It's more towards networking. It's basically a global exposure with a cross-sector engagement. So these four pillars or these four core sectors are something that a PhD scholar from now should start targeting upon and sharpen their skills based on that particular context. Finally, my advice, or let's say a list of suggestions to you all is make sure to strengthen your Python foundation. Of course, with Python, MATLAB comes inbuilt. If you're good with Python, go with Python. If you're good with MATLAB, go with MATLAB. If you're good with R, go with R. But there should be a good foundation of these skill set at the first initial level. The second comes in the form of, as I mentioned in the start of the presentation as well, it's not just about core remote sensing based indices हमने निकाल दिए, map बना दिए, PhD हो गई. It's not that particular cliche anymore. You should know how to handle multiple types of data from different sources, how to fuse them, and how to analyze them. So this is the place where you start differentiating data analytics and data science. Analytics comes from Python, but science comes from learning to use multiple data at hand. That is, you are making sense out of that particular data. Not just about analytics that मैंने machine learning लगा दिया, PCA लगा दिया, मेरे पास output आ गया. No, it's about, are you able to interpret it? Are you able to deploy it? And are you able to explain it to a general audience? A mixture of technical and non-technical both. You should stop thinking statically, start thinking dynamically, and that's the case where you start to work on the approach of spatio-temporal angle, time series, पहले क्या हुआ था, आगे क्या होगा, near future, far future, implications, these angles, and which is the core pillar of geospatial advancements, to be honest. Finally, if you are a geospatial scholar, you will get nowhere if you do not have a basic understanding of Google Earth Engine. Explore Google Earth Engine embeddings, which is a great tool. Until I think April 27, there is some tier constraints with Google Earth Engine. But till the time being, go ahead and explore embeddings. They are absolutely superb tools that you can use in day-to-day life. I will definitely focus and emphasize you all to work on systems rather than scripts. You can have scripts from ChatGPT, fine. But system thinking is something where you are automating that script based on the type of data that can come from any sort of input. So focus on building systems rather than static scripts. And of course, make sure that learning curve is something which is always there at hand. You can't escape from your comfort zone. You can't escape from learning curve. It will be there. It will be prevalent. And you have to get out of the comfort zone. Then only you will be able to shine. So I believe these suggestion, it's not just coming from the angle of me working in a professional space, but it's also coming from the angle that I was not knowing this in the start, and I hence got stuck in a lot of points, which of course delayed my growth as well. So with this, I just wind up the entire presentation. I hope I am on time. I just took 22 minutes. I'll hand over to Deepak and the podium if you have any questions at hand. Thanks.
Thank you, sir,
Yes.
for this very informative and very important lecture for us. I believe the information that you have delivered in this lecture in terms of future career path and your PhD research is very significant for us who want to work in this sector. And yeah, they have to think after what after the PhD. So you have give very meaningful insight. So I would like to ask if anyone want to ask any question. So we have 5 minutes for the Q&A session. So yeah,
Uh, I have, yes, Mohit, you can ask the question.
Yeah,
Hello, good afternoon,
Go
sir.
ahead. Go ahead. Yep. Yep. Good
Good
afternoon.
afternoon, sir. So I was thank you for such a wonderful lecture on this particular topic of actionable intelligence regarding GUI, etc. So I want to inquire that since you are associated with CEEW, so what kind of job opportunities are particularly within your association?
I just lost your voice, but just on the same track, I feel you are asking what type of job opportunities prevail in the infrastructure of CW, right? Am I right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So basically, when we talk about CW, it's a part of a think tank. Think tanks का मतलब ये होता है it works closely with the government. It's still not a government body. It's a not-for-profit organization. Whether you talk about WRI, TERI, CEW, CSTEP, CRRI. So they basically are a non-governmental body, but works with state and union ministries at hand. And it has a range of teams. Like I lead the tech and AI vertical. There's a vertical on mobility, climate adaptation, climate resilience, livelihoods, food systems, जहाँ पे agriculture का part आ गया. Then we have power markets. तो energy का part आ गया. We have sustainable water. So it's like it's not just about कि आप geospatial से हो और let's say you're coming from water resource development management, क्या आप fit हो? It's not about that. It's about there are three basic hierarchies. The first hierarchy is being a research analyst जो generally masters के बाद मिलता है. Then there is a program associate जो PhDs के बाद मिलता है, which is like you're working on the research but also engaging with people at a global level. And then there is finally a leader, a program lead, which is basically the end-to-end executionist, which is like 10, 12 years down the lane after PhD. So you please explore CEW website. There's a work with a section. And we at CEW have a basic motive and aim that if you know how to work, you know, that's it. It's not just about if you are from electronics, हम electronics वाले को लेंगे. It's not about तुम civil के हम civil को लेंगे. It's about you know the skill, you can communicate, you know how to do research, and you know how to interpret that research in front of audience. Generally government के लोग होते हैं. You are a right fit. There is no right or wrong when it works or what it works for being at a think tank. It's about तुम्हें काम आता है, sufficient. You are a deserving candidate. So do explore CEW work with us section. Reach out to me at any point of time, and we can take it bilaterally.
I have one question, sir.
Let's. Yeah.
I am like a final year master's student, and like we are on the verge of like now finishing our MTech, and either we will be venturing into like corporate field or like academic field. So we literally get confused, like should we focus on academic more or should we go in industry? Because sometimes we get
Your
confused, like
bachelor's is in which?
ac-
Your bachelor's is
bachelor's
in
is
which
in my
field?
bachelor's is in civil engineering and master's is in geospatial engineering.
Okay.
So,
Now see, this is a
but
personal
but
endeavor. I mean, if you feel like you are good in academics, I'll definitely push you to pursue PhD because
okay,
the basic taboo in India is masters के बाद में आप PhD कर रहे हो तो आपकी फील्ड और नैरो हो रही है. That is not the case. ऐसा कतई
okay,
नहीं है. If you feel like if you're good with research and if you feel कि ठीक है मैं थोड़ा सा और 2-3 साल पुश मार के मेहनत कर सकता हूँ, I'll push you towards pursuing PhD at a good higher level. If not, the doors are always open for you, whether it's corporate, whether it's scientific, whether it's research. You can always come down to professional scale at any point of time. It's up to you. I mean, it's purely a personal choice.
okay. And following this question, I have one more question. It's like if you go into PhD, you are like you will be narrowed down into some niche domain, like in remote sensing to either in thermal or hyperspectral. But what if after a few years finishing the PhD and you want to pivot to some industry which is working in a different domain? So is it possible, and how welcoming the industry is if you want to pivot
So
in such a way?
I'll give you my own journey. I am bachelor's in electronics. I'm master's in instrumentation.
Okay.
I'm PhD in remote sensing, which is under civil engineering at IIT, but let's say remote sensing, for example. My postdoc is in agriculture and biological engineering.
Okay.
So it's like 4 different fields. But what's tying me together is core knowledge about electronics, application in electronics, and use of techniques that I've learned in all 4 degrees. Right? India में when it comes to NIT or IIT, they are still restricting towards कि ठीक है, no, we want someone from core. But if you go to any MNC, GT, Grant Thornton, CEEW, WRI, World Bank, Gates Foundation, any outside universities, उनको ये फर्क नहीं पड़ता कि आप कौन से कोर्स से आ रहे हो, कौन से कोर्स से नहीं आ रहे हो. You know how to work, you have good skill set on Python, you know to visualize things, and you can work in any form of data on the go. You are hired. बात खत्म.
Okay.
As simple as that. It's just how good you are in marketing your own self in front of others is the basic catch. That's the only thing.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir.
Anyone else have anything to ask?
If everyone is done with the question, I have one question.
Go ahead.
Like, sir, as the student who about to complete the PhD and wanted to pursue further academics in postdoc, so how they have to like approach to a different university, like the opening based application, or they can, if yeah, of course they have personal link, they can proceed with that also. But if we don't know the person, so how we can proceed, like the field in which we are working, or we can explore the any field, the geospatial, that we have confidence like we can do good in this field. So yeah.
So, a great question, Deepak. The point is, it's a multi-step process. First of all, you have to think you're good with application or you're good with methodology. Because this is somewhere where you have to target universities based on your own forte and skill set. If you're good with application, let's say, if you're good with applications. So the basic problem with people is, or the people are, they feel जब हम pre synopsis दे देंगे या हमारी PhD complete होने वाली होगी, then we'll start to apply for postdocs. And that's not the case. Of course, it's not the ideal case. I've seen people who have finished their PhD and still sat for like 12 months searching for a postdoc. The reason, either they are stuck on to one particular university or one particular professor. जब तक वो professor खाली नहीं होगा, बैठे थोड़ी रहोगे. I mean, you just can't have a black full stop on your resume. So, my personal opinion is, do not rely on fellowships. Rely more on communicating with the university or the professor one-to-one. The best options are, of course, LinkedIn and Twitter. Many of you might not be knowing, but Twitter is something that gives you more job opportunities than LinkedIn. This is something that I got through crashing on a hard wall. Now the major problem is, you got someone from LinkedIn, let's say a professor from XYZ university, and now you are communicating, and now you are thinking कि क्या ये बंदा सही है कि नहीं postdoc करने के लिए. See, this is something जो आप end तक नहीं समझ पाओगे. Everyone has a sugarcoat face in the front, but when you go and when you explore, it will just not be the problem with, let's say, the project or the deadlines or the working culture, or let's say the professor himself. It'll be more about, are you happy being into that postdoc position, is something that you have to think thoroughly from the start. So my best roadmap for you is, have a good SWOT analysis. Think you have to go to, let's say, application or methodology orientations. Then approach a couple of people on LinkedIn, mail to the people from universities, but have something in the mind. आप daily 100 mail करोगे, आपके पास एक भी reply नहीं आएगा. If you are good with this angle and if you have patience, आप तभी अप्लाई करना चालू करिए. अदरवाइज मतलब बहुत हार्ड बॉल से क्रैश करोगे. One more aspect to this is, it's not just about your CV, resume, or the list of publications. It's about the research interest that you show to that particular professor as well. अगर उस professor को तुम्हारा you have 100 SCI papers, वो नहीं लेगा. Because he is responsible and liable for you as an international scholar, taking the leadership and ownership, and answerable to his own university and department कि I have taken or hired someone across the seas. क्या वो काम करने लायक है या नहीं? This comes from research interest statement. Secondly, my greatest suggestion to anyone is, अगर आपको काम करना नहीं भी आता, और अगर आपको उस काम को बेचना और दिखाना आता है, you are a good fit. आप मशीन लर्निंग अप्लाई करो, लेकिन आप समझाओ कि मैंने डीप लर्निंग अप्लाई की है. This is what is going on in the scientific community, to be honest. The reasons why publications का grade is degrading is because of this. हम अप्लाई छोटी चीज करते हैं लेकिन हम मार्केटिंग बहुत बड़ी करते हैं. Mohit has just laughed, which is good. He understood. But the point is, this is something that you should know. This is what marketing is all about. अगर आपको अपना काम बेचना आता है, you are in the best place. Much better and shiner. If you have been into conferences, you must have had a good networking with professors there. Approach the people doing postdoc under that professor before approaching the professor directly. है ना? This is something which is true and honest. आपको ब्रूटल सच्चाई वहीं से पता चलेगी. प्रोफेसर तो अच्छा ही है. गूगल स्कॉलर में 10,000 साइटेशन है. प्रोफेसर तो बढ़िया है, फंडिंग लेके आ रहा है, तुमको अपॉर्चुनिटी दे रहा है. क्या काम करने लायक है is something that comes from the people under him. So if I had to approach, let's say, Professor R.D. Garg, I'll this gives me an idea कि क्या approach. Page resumes, complete resume, list of publications, research interest statement, good letter of recommendations, not just from IIT Roorkee, but from IITs and a great institution outside the nation as well. Reach out to people, good formal language, everything attached, brilliant resume, एकदम clean, readable, clean, understandable. मैं एक बार में देख के पहचान जाऊंगा कि तुमने एक्स्ट्रा लिखा है या कम लिखा है. मेरे को कम चलेगा, एक्स्ट्रा नहीं चलेगा. So this is the mindset that you should have in the mind, and then start to approach people. If you feel like you are stuck somewhere, or if you need good connections to work on, let me know on the email or WhatsApp, whatever you feel like. I have very good people, not just from academic universities, but to be honest, Google is right now hiring close to 10,500 postdoc scholars worldwide in all domains. बिकॉज अगर तुम लोगों ने यूएस एआईडी यूएस एड सुना होगा, जब पिछले साल वो बंद हुआ, तो अब गूगल इज द वन हु इज ट्राइंग टू ब्रिज दैट गैप. तो देयर आर क्लोज टू 10,500 applications for postdoc available right now. So reach out to them. If you feel like, come to me, we'll have a good common background and I'll connect you with people. That's the best angle you can have.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, if
Thank you everyone
everyone present,
for the
yeah,
engaging questions
proceed.
and discussion. Now I would like to invite Mr. Arnab Chaudhary, Vice Chair of IEEE GRSS, Student Branch Chapter, IIT Roorkee, to deliver a formal vote of thanks.
Yeah, thank you, Aditya. So I formally thank Neerav sir for delivering this wonderful lecture, only the wonderful lecture, and also for guiding us through this wonderful opportunities what we can get after PhD, also what our MTech scholars get after their MTech. So I think it will be very helpful for them, for us after our PhD, after their MTech. And I think also Neerav sir will be available via social media, LinkedIn and
Every 15,
WhatsApp.
20 days, I'm there at the campus. Anyone wants to meet me personally,
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah, yeah, yeah. We know the thing also.
Shubham, Shubham, he's there from the same community. You can reach out to me 24/7, always available. No problems.
Yeah, definitely. Neerav sir is also Neerav sir has helped me in various domains previously, so I know it personally. Neerav sir is very
ऐसा
much
कुछ भी नहीं है.
approachable. He is
Thanks for
very much
being honest.
approachable.
ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है.
So everyone, every MTech scholars and every PhD scholars, every one of you can definitely reach out to Neerav sir if you have any query, if you want any connection, if he any links. So I think he will reply you. He will get back to you. And once again, I thank
Always.
you. I thank you, Neerav sir, for attending, for scheduling this lecture with us. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. You
Yeah,
all have a great
so
day.
I have
Yeah.
an announcement. So this is a continuous series. So next lecture we have on 2nd of March by Pratik sir, and all the lecture recording, if somebody missed the lecture from starting, so I will upload this lecture at a platform like YouTube and all, so you can access the whole recording of these lectures. because these lectures are very precious for every PhD and MTech students. And yeah, lots of information. Yeah, so thank you
Second
everyone
most
for
part,
joining.
Pratik Tripathi is giving the lecture, Deepak.
Yeah, Pratik Tripathi.
Oh, great. He's doing it from Miami. Superb.
And this is a continuous series, so we have some more lecture in upcoming months and weeks. Yeah.
I'll definitely attend everyone. Deepak, make sure
I
you
have
give me the link for everyone. I'll be there. Yeah, Aditya.
Yeah, I will send.
there is one more thing, sir. Like if you also have some like alumni who are like doing great work in our field, so you can also like share the details with us. And if any other participant who wants a particular lecture and he has some speaker in mind, then he can share to us on LinkedIn or via email, and then we can arrange with the talk with that speaker.
I'll do that. There are a lot of alumni in my own CEEW as well, who are the director levels like Abhishek, Jan, Shalu, Rawal are there. I think they'll be happy to deliver a lecture. I'll reach out to them. I'll ping Deepak. Let you guys know. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you so much, sir.
one more thing, if they want to come IIT Roorkee and wants to deliver like offline lecture, so we'll have some option with IEEE, like they can cover the travel and all the cost that they have spent
Okay.
during these lectures. Yeah.
Okay.
So thank you
I'll
everyone.
explore the options. I'll let you know that time. Sure. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you all.
See you in the next lecture.
Thank you everyone for joining.